Hey everybody, this is Chris for Geek Tech Live. Welcome again to another episode. This is episode 112, and in this episode, we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about C2E2. If you're not familiar with C2E2, think of it kind of as like an after party, but before the party for Comic-Con in San Diego and abroad, basically. So without further ado, let's jump on into Geek Tech Live.
You know, it's just occurred to me we really haven't had a completely successful test of this equipment.
Why worry? Each of us is wearing an unlicensed nuclear accelerator on his back.
Let's get ready. Switch me on.
Okay, so some of you actually are probably sitting there going, what the heck is wrong with you, Chris? What's C2E2? You know, now you're just spouting gibberish at this point. You probably need to just pack up your podcast and go home. No, I'm not actually freaking out over San Diego Comic-Con and the fact that I still can't buy tickets for San Diego Comic-Con. No. This is actually a really cool sort of pre-party, if you will, and it just so happens to be in my backyard in Chicago. If you're not familiar with C2E2, basically, it's kind of like a mini Comic-Con, but sort of with all the really kind of good stuff. Kind of like think of it as like the butter churn of Comic-Cons with just the cream on top. So in the 2011 C2E2, Joe Quesada is actually going to be there, and I cannot wait. As someone who's been really loving everything that he does. I'm a big Spidey fan, and the fact that he's basically, I read more of the back articles after reading through my Spidey comics than anything else. I'm really, really excited to actually see him in a panel or just even get to talk to him for a moment or two. I'm also planning on going as press this year, so it's very possible that we're going to actually be able to have a recorded event from Geek Tech Live right at C2E2, and I'm really excited to be able to possibly bring that directly to you. So without further ado, let's dive into really what is C2E2 and what it really means to you and me. You've obviously heard of all of the other cons that are available across the United States over a given year. You have the New York Comic-Con, the Chicago Comic-Con, the San Diego Comic-Con, the one that I went to last year. Now, what makes C2E2, which really stands for, just so if you don't know, the Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo, C2E2, get it? Why is that different? And why is that different than the Chicago Comic-Con? Now, if you do your research, you actually can find out that is essentially the Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo, it's kind of like a mini Comic-Con, really. But at the same time, it's really truly seen as sort of the intro, if you will, to the major cons that start, including the Chicago Comic-Con and the San Diego Comic-Con, as well as New York Comic-Con. So what better place to go and test this out than to go to the C2E2 and find out who's going to be there? And in this case, let's find out who really is going to actually be there. Joe Quesada is actually going to be showing up at C2E2 this year. I'm really excited, actually, about the fact that I could possibly meet, maybe even get a signed autograph from Joe. Now, if you're not familiar with Joe, which I'd be really surprised if you're going to C2E2 or even listening to me talk about C2E2 and not familiar with him, basically, he is the writer, artist, and the chief creative officer at Marvel Entertainment. He is basically the steward of the biggest legendary characters such as Spider-Man, X-Men, Iron Man, Captain America, and the Fantastic Four, which, well, soon really is going to be the Fantastic Three. So he's basically, editor-in-chief, 10 years at Marvel. This guy knows the in and the outs and is the guy to talk to about pretty much anything that you could think of. Now, the really cool thing as well is that for C2E2, they are selling tickets that you can actually go to have a dinner with Joe, as well as Michael Bendis as well, and be able to have a 5-course meal with a wine pairing, and it's $500 to be able to go and do this. I think if those tickets are still available, that is a fantastic opportunity to be able to sit down, eat a 5-course meal, which is not something that's going to take only a half an hour, people, and be able to get real FaceTime with the guy, other than Stan Lee. This is the guy to sit down and ask questions to, get his ideas on, and find out all that really, really cool information. So you may be asking yourself now, exactly how do I get all of this really cool stuff? How do I go there? When is it going to be? How much is it going to really cost? And, how do I, just experience this? Well, so when is C2E2? That's actually going to be March 18th, 19th, and the 20th. On Friday, March 18th, any of the professional hours that'll be open from 10 until 1. Then at 1 p.m. until 7 p.m., it's actually open to the public. Now, Saturday, March 19th, it's open from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. And then Sunday, March 20th, it's open from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now, the above hours that I just spoke of are basically just for the show floor itself. The panels and the screenings that are going to be happening as the day goes on will actually run from about 7 p.m. until about 10 p.m. or even possibly later if there's a big enough turnout. So that's basically the when. Now, where is C2E2? C2E2 is actually going to be held at the West Building at McCormick Place, located at 2301 South Lakeshore Drive in Chicago, Illinois. It is, if you haven't already been to McCormick Place at one point or another, the hugest, largest, craziest place you could possibly get lost in, and the probably perfect place, really, to be able to hold the Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo, seeing as they can actually handle tens of thousands of people with not really a blink of an eye. So that's basically the ins and outs of how to get there. And the individual prices right now are $50 per person for the whole weekend. It's a VIP guest pass. So if you're going to jump on in and get that, you need to head over to www.c2e2.com and buy those tickets before they are sold out. As you can see, everyone, I hopefully have gotten a little bit better at video editing, and I would just like to take this opportunity to really just thank you guys for being able to not only listen to me, but really the huge amount of support that I've gotten for the first video episode back in episode 111. Now, coming up in episode 113, there's going to be some extra kind of cool goodness coming and happening in the next week, basically. So just a little teaser of that. I'm going to be in episode 113. This is, by the way, episode 112. Reviewing the Gunnar glasses that I was actually able to get a hold of, and basically been reviewing not only at my job, but also at my online gaming presence. I've even given them out to a couple of people that I work with just to kind of get a very unbiased review of Gunnar glasses and whether or not they really do what they say they're supposed to do. Also, if you have been following the Geek Tech Live blog at geektechlive.com, as well as my occasional Twitter stream, you will also know that the Boxy Box is going to be looking like it's back up for grabs. The winner has been given essentially almost a month to respond back to me, and, well, he hasn't responded back. So, sucks to be him, but that's the nice thing about it, is that the Boxy Box is back up for grabs, and you can get your grubby little mitts on your own Boxy Box. I'm going to be re-raffling it off essentially the first day of February, basically because, well, I haven't heard back from the original winner. So all you bots out there that are, if this is really truly a bot that put in a sort of winning ticket, stop it, really. I'm just trying to give away a really cool gift to somebody, and if you're not a real person, or if you really don't intend on winning or taking the winning, don't enter. Don't make it basically a waiting game for everybody else just because you're a bot or a robot or a cyborg or some sort of polymimetic metal from the future that's trying to kill some woman with the last name of Connor. I'm not sure. But either way, just stop it. So, coming up in episode 113, I will be reviewing the Gunner glasses. I will also be announcing live on camera the winner of the Boxy Box contest. I will contact them ahead of time to let them know, but I will be announcing them live, well, recorded at least, on air. So look for that in episode 113. This has been episode 112, the review of C2E2 that will be coming in March 18th through the 20th, I believe, at McCormick Place in Chicago. I hope to see you there. I hope to be there myself, and hopefully we'll be able to do some really cool Geek Tech Live broadcasts and recordings, and maybe some interviews of the people that are going to be showing up. Until next time, everyone, this has been Chris for Geek Tech Live, and, well, gosh, it's really been great having you. This has been a Geek Tech Live feature presentation. Thanks for watching and listening.